Hello, this is a very quick look at the Xtreamer Wonder Android console. This is a quad-core console that's quite large compared to its competitors. As you can see, it's over 10 centimeters, but less than 15 centimeters. It's quite nicely designed. It's just got some LEDs on the front, nothing around the side. Around the back, you've got the HDMI and memory card slots. You then have the Ethernet port, which unfortunately is the wrong way up for this lip. And what I mean by that is when you plug the Ethernet cable in, you can't then release it without using maybe a knife or something. And then the rest of the box is fairly standard. You've got a couple of ports not used. You've got power and AV out, things like that. On this one, you get 3 USB ports, and that's really handy. One of them can be taken up by the included Air Mouse. Nice little design, very similar to the LG. Just plugs in via USB, and I suppose you could use this with a different Android box or possibly even a PC if you wanted to. And this Air Mouse, it takes 2 AAA batteries. Once you load this up, you'll see it's Android KitKat, and the interface and the Air Mouse work really well together. I have to say this is one of the slickest interfaces I've seen. It's really smooth, nice large icons. What you'll find is there's a lot of stuff here that you've got icons to that are actually shortcuts to downloadable programs. So not everything you see here comes on the box. What you simply do though is when you click on one of the icons, it will then start to download it. The interface is really smooth. There's no lag at all. Really nice, clean interface. It's organized at the top with different screens. As you can see here, this is just the home screen that has the things you're probably going to want most of the time, such as XBMC. Again, XBMC works really well. I fired it up. XBMC started to install some extra bits that you can see along the bottom. I haven't had a chance to have a full play with those, but they look quite interesting. One problem I did find was that when I clicked on some of these, like this app here, it will download it, and when it's downloaded, it will try and install it. And I get this problem passing the package. I've no idea what that means. I hadn't heard of this app, so I'm not too fussed that I can't use it, but it is worrying that that happens on quite a few. You can't remove the icons to these either, so you're kind of stuck with an icon that you might never press. The rest of the interface is just as slick. On this feature page, you get news that auto updates when you hit the page, and you see nice big icons. Really well designed for TV. It's nice and slick. Instead of it just being Android that you struggle with tiny icons, they've put on nice large icons on for the things that you're probably going to use quite a lot of. The Wonder console basically acts as a mini PC, so you've seen already it's got lots of TV movies streaming. It can also be used as a games console. You can stream music, and you can use it as a CCTV hub, and it's also got the settings for you to have a play around. You can adjust the screen to make sure it's filling the screen correctly, or if it's too big you can shrink that down. Being Android, you'll probably want to install your own apps, and once they are installed you can access them via this app screen, which is pretty standard on Android, and you can then add them to that main screen that you just saw. So you simply add them on by pressing the little plus icon, find the app that you're interested in, select it, and it will then appear on the screen. Now, the only problem with this is an app that you might use quite a lot only appears as a tiny little icon rather than one of the nicer, larger icons. So you can see there it's kind of shadowed by the Google Play Store. Aside from that though, once you're all set up, this is a brilliant little console. Netflix works brilliantly on it. The Air Mouse, you can see the Air Mouse is working really well. I'm using it here to control, and you can swipe and drag around. And I didn't have any problems with the interfaces at all, whether it be Netflix, as you can see here, XBMC, Plex. Any of these kind of interfaces work really well. They're very smooth, very slick. There was no juttering around. Playback was fine, as you'd expect. Netflix is an established service, so that works really well. And I was streaming over Wi-Fi, didn't have any problems. As you saw earlier, you can plug it in for a wired connection if you prefer. Having 3 USB ports mean you can not only just use the Air Mouse, but you can plug in some extras, such as this Xbox wireless adapter. Once plugged in, the Xbox control pad works straight away, giving you access to any of the Android games. So here's Another World, which is really hard, as you can see. A bit of Sonic, which works really well. And if you're not into your classic games and you want something a bit more modern, it'll run things like Dead Trigger as well. And these all ran really well, so making this a very viable gaming console as well as a media streamer. To enter the settings, I've also been using this Air Mouse, which is a great little add-on for any Android console, but you could just as easily use a keyboard trackpad combination, something from Logitech for example. This particular one happens to replace the Air Mouse that comes with it. There's nothing wrong with the Air Mouse, but this has the QWERTY keyboard built in, making it a lot easier to type. So instead of using the on-screen keyboard to point and type, you simply type in as you normally would. And if you had a USB keyboard plugged in, that would be the same as well. That then means that you can use this as a mini PC for doing some work. You could perhaps fire up Google Docs, type out any letters you need to. It makes this an all-round, very useful little device. Now, I've only covered a very short amount of features on this. If you head over to the website, I've put a link in the description below, you'll see it's not too expensive. It's got a lot more features than I've covered as well in terms of what it can do. Be aware that shipping is included, but local taxes are not, so you may need to pay some additional costs when it arrives. It arrived for me within a couple of weeks. I had a tracking number, and if you look at the top here, you can change the currency as well if you'd rather pay in dollars, pounds, euros. So a great all-round box. It does have a couple of niggles, such as the Ethernet port being the wrong way and the icons not being as customizable as you might like, but otherwise it's very difficult not to recommend this fantastic little device. I hope you found this short review useful. I do a lot of other reviews. Please consider subscribing.